but you're running the casino.
You know, if I did it, I'd have to run my way.
Oi, eu sou a Marina com Semana Cine Especial Cassino. Nos Estados Unidos, esse filme fez mais de 40 milhões de dólares em bilheteria, graças ao forte elenco que inclui Sharon, Robert De Niro e Joe Pesci. Todos eles sob a direção de ninguém menos que Martin Scorsese. No primeiro bloco do programa, você vai poder dar uma recapitulada na carreira da dupla De Niro e Scorsese, que começou em 73, quando eles fizeram Caminhos Perigosos. Aliás, 73 é o ano em que se passa a trama do filme, na capital mundial do jogo, Las Vegas.
In Vegas, everybody's got to watch everybody else. The shift bosses are watching the pit bosses. The casino manager is watching the shift bosses. I'm watching the casino manager, and the eye in the sky is watching us all.
What is your relationship with Martin Scorsese that lets you have such a fruitful artistic collaboration?
I mean, I'm very lucky that I have someone like Marty to work with as a director, a collaborator. Because a lot of, I've run into people over the years. I say, I wish I had an actress. I wish I had somebody who, you're lucky to have somebody that, the kind of relationship you have with Marty. I said, yeah, I know.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Hit the meter. Did I tell you to put? Did I tell you to do that with the meter? Put the meter back. Let the numbers go on. I don't care what I have to pay. I didn't say I'm not getting out. Put the meter back on. Put it down. Put it. That's right. Put it down.
When we go and do something, we can always be. It's a special kind of endeavor. We just understand each other and can push things forward in a way. We go pretty far with stuff and always trust each other that the choices are right or they're right for us.
Why are you writing? Don't write. Put the thing down. Just sit. I didn't tell you to write. I didn't tell you to do anything. I just said pull over to the curb. When we pull over to the curb, we're going to sit here. We're going to sit.
How many years in your relationship did it take before you had that trust? Was it there right from the first time you worked together on Mean Streets?
It was very much on Mean Streets and then on Taxi Driver. Each thing was a different experience, but we've been through a lot together working, so we've learned a lot about each other, and I've always, at the end of the day, always come up at least knowing that we tried our best.
Inspired by the shooting of George Wallace and the Harry Chapin song Taxi, Taxi Driver won acclaim at the Cannes Film Festival, but its violence nearly earned it an X rating back in the States. The film further established De Niro, who'd won an Oscar for The Godfather Part 2, as Hollywood's most admired actor.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
He'll do something and invariably it'll be human. It'll be, and I don't mean that facetiously, I mean it's like it'll come out of an honesty and a humanity.
Talking to me? Well, I'm the only one here.
There's something about him, I think, as a person, I think, is innate, there's a goodness in him that somehow the audience identifies with.
I learned from the get-go in the joint to get in touch with the soft, nurturing side of myself, the feminine side.
Well, that's what's always marked your relationship with Robert De Niro.
He
was
prepares,
your attention to character, right,
Yeah.
for years and years.
Yeah, and that really is for the actors, attention to detail, emotional detail. And when he chooses, when he says, what about this, or opposed to this, or opposed to that, that's, you're doing the scene. You're actually shooting in a way.
So, class is tomorrow in room 110, right?
No, it's been changed to the theater. I mean, what better place for drama, right?
Yeah.
And that's like, that's very exciting. He even did it in Raging Bull. He put a jacket on one day and he got the character. I mean, it's for me to say easy. I'm sure he had the character way beforehand, but suddenly it all came together. It was a black jacket with a white top here that he wore as Jake LaMotta in the film, in the early parts of the film.
De Niro's attention to detail was never more evident than on Raging Bull. The set closed down for 4 months so that De Niro could gain 56 pounds to play the dissolute days of boxer Jake LaMotta. Brutal, unsentimental, Shot in luminous black and white, Raging Bull won a Best Actor award for De Niro, and by the end of the 80s, was generally acknowledged to be the best film of the decade. Raging Bull also marked De Niro and Scorsese's first collaboration with Joe Pesci, and the actors' chemistry was there from day one.
We had it when we first read together, Raging Bull. First day we started reading, Marty was like all excited because it was there. I mean, I was in awe of Robert, but I wasn't intimidated by him. You know, I went right in his face right away.
Harder. 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 Harder.
That's hard. What do you want?
So like Joe Pesci was saying today, what you do is you might improvise it 3 weeks earlier, part of it, and work it out, and then you got to set it, basically sort of set it, and you have to relearn that. Because even though you might have come up with the original line, you still got to remember it again. It's an odd thing.
I ain't going down.
You going down for nobody.
Why don't you do me a favor, huh? Do something for me. Just put your hands up. I want to show you something. Put your hands up. What the is so hard about that?
For us, it was perfect. As an actor, for both of us.
There's a feeding that goes back and forth like in a jazz thing.
Some people, you just don't connect. And there's nothing there. You don't believe them. Maybe they don't believe you or whatever. There's no harmony in a sense.
You know, I can use a tone in my voice that'll make him use a tone in his voice. And if I use another tone in my voice and bring it up a notch, he'll bring it up in his.
What are you worried about? What's the biggest thing you got to worry about? The
I'm
weight?
worried about the weight.
You worried about the weight? What are we arguing about for? I just said the weight.
So when he hears I'm serious, he'll get serious. Or if I hear he's serious, I'll get serious. You know, and if we just gesture with our heads or a look or something, we know what we mean to each other.
If you win, you win. If you lose, you still win. Just get down to 155 pounds, you fat bastard.
There's that friendship, you know. We can get angry with each other. We can still be friendly with each other. We can have fun together. We can feel sympathy towards each other a lot quicker than two actors that don't know each other.
De Niro, Pesci, and Scorsese joined forces again for 1990's brilliant Goodfellas, a gloriously vital and detailed look into the lives of New York gangsters, which scored Pesci a Best Supporting Actor Oscar.
Pesci's the same kind of thing in terms of a emotional truth. I mean, they use big words, but the reality is that if it doesn't feel right, he's going to say, "What the hell is this?"
What do you mean I'm funny?
Or watch this, I'll try this, and then he'll do something with me. And I say, well, that's too much. How about taking it down? We'll take it down a little if we move this up at the end.
Funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you? I make you laugh? Get the out of here. I almost had him.
Get into a whole thing, or he'll do something physically. It's hysterical. That's really funny, and or genuine, or frightening.
Don't be like that.
What do you mean don't be like that?
You work with so many top directors now. Can you try to say what it is about Marty that makes him unique? What it is that makes him special?
He can tell you better than any director I've ever worked with where to go to get the right feeling for the line.
Hey, you want to laugh? This prick last week he asked me to christen his kid. You really
are a funny guy!
You know, when he comes up with stuff like that, I say, oh, that's a pretty interesting way of looking at things. That gives you a lot of character, you know. And I find him, I find him to be very enjoyable to work with, except he smokes cigars constantly. Kills me.
Tough on the set.
Oh, no, yeah, no, I have asthma. It kills me.
When we return, we'll add Sharon Stone to the mix, hear Robbie Robertson talk about Scorsese's use of music, and get you on the floor and in the back rooms of Casino.
E a gente está de volta com Semana Cine Especial Cassino. Nesse filme que reuniu novamente Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro e Joe Pesci, quem acabou se dando bem na corrida para o Oscar foi Sharon Stone. Apesar de ser muito famosa, há tempos ela não conseguia se livrar de papéis que valorizavam mais a sua beleza do que a atuação. Mas tudo mudou quando Martin Scorsese colocou sua mãozinha na criação da personagem Ginger McKenna, uma jogadora que conquista o coração do chefe do cassino, Robert De Niro.
So is this like a dream come true for you?
Sitting here on your lap, you mean?
Exactly.
Yes,
yeah.
it is. Yes, it is.
Do I keep my promises or do I keep my promises?
So wonderful. Jewelry's not so bad either.
The only thing is,
We shouldn't keep this in the house. We got to put it in the bank.
Come on, can I keep this one in the house?
Pay attention. What I'm going to tell you is very important.
Okay.
All this stuff doesn't mean anything. Money, this doesn't mean anything without trust.
In Casino, Stone's Ginger McKenna has the face of an angel, but the heart of a hustler. Her beauty and bravado instantly catch the eye of De Niro's casino manager, Ace Rothstein.
What's the matter?
A lot of money for you. I want.
He fell in love with her. He probably, you know, he's attracted to her, you know, big time. First time he sees her, boom, you know, probably the turn on that she doesn't give it. She just throws it, chips up in the air, you know.
This character, I don't think, was power hungry at all. I think she just wanted to be loved, you know, and it was devastating for her that it wasn't happening.
Were you worried about integrating Sharon Stone into this sort of boys club that has 15 years of experience among them? How did you work to do that, to make her part of the ensemble?
You had that problem, that's a directorial problem to deal with how people are going to relate with each other every time you make a movie. But this was a little particular, as you say, because we know each other a long time, and she's new in a sense to us. And so it really it comes down to a matter of trust.
You know, it's about trust.
Having her not be afraid to try things and to know that I'm there, okay, I'm there behind the camera, but this guy in front of the camera with you is really there too.
I thought, you know, they'd be like, yeah, we'll get, yeah, no, yeah. You know, that's what I expected. And that's really not how it was. It was great. He trusts you implicitly.
I have to be able to trust you with my life.
If you say, you know, I just think that maybe she would like, you know, whistle Dixie. Oh, well, all right. Bob, Sharon's going to whistle Dixie. Let's just see, you know, what'll happen. And then even if it isn't the thing, it leads everybody into, like, the creative process with it, you know. He respects everybody's feelings about the characters they're playing.
It's a whole thing of trust.
Can I trust you?
She got to learn that pretty quickly in the rehearsal period. Same thing with Joe, by the way.
Is that right?
Yeah, with Joe was very good with her. They have two big scenes.
Some rather distinctive love scenes between Ginger and Pesci's Nicky Santoro establish the film's romantic triangle.
I need a response from you.
I worked her over so much that she didn't look too good, so they cut some of those scenes out, but...
Makeup, lighting, they just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I was just too much for the kid.
Yeah. He has his own kind of romance and way, doesn't he?
The hand on the neck school of, yes.
The drop and roll, babe. Yeah, very, very nice. Very charming.
She said in the press conference that she told somebody that Robert was a great kisser. And I said, how come you didn't say anything about me? She said, I told him you were better in the sack.
You're set for life now.
That's right. That'll get around. Forget about it. Have to change my phone numbers and everything. It's going to get tough.
Music has been as much a part of Scorsese's work as gangsters and gliding cameras. Consulting on Casino song selection was Robbie Robertson, a longtime colleague of Scorsese's dating back to 1976, when the director documented the final concert of the band in The Last Waltz.
When I was trying to figure out who would be really good to do The Last Waltz, who would have a sense of music, you know, that could capture what we were trying to do in that. And I thought, well, I'll make out a list of directors who I think have this particular knack for it. And I wrote his name down, and I was trying to think of, and I couldn't think of anybody else.
Robertson has since worked with Scorsese on The King of Comedy and Raging Bull, and sought to lessen his friend's burden on Casino.
Mainly in this, I was just making some suggestions, some music suggestions, and then because it's a long movie, I knew that he really had his hands full. So I thought maybe I could help him and just, you know, put the soundtrack together while he was in the mines. I don't know if I have a real job title on this. Maybe a friend of the director.
you know what kind of music you're going to use when you do some of those wonderful sequences?
Most of it, yeah. Yeah, for example, the use of Layla in Goodfellas was definitely planned and played on the set where we're shooting.
Is that right? Really? You do that frequently ever? Just
Yeah.
to get people on
You have to, but more the camera, for camera move. If you do it with people, it's a problem sometimes, and when it stops, they're out of the move. So, because you can't have it on the soundtrack.
What the truth of the matter really is that Marty is a frustrated musician. And so he plays these songs behind the scenes, you know, and he has said before that there is no difference for him, the music and what's happening in the film, there's no difference in that to him, that it's all the same.
When we come back, we'll show you just how Casino hits the jackpot.
E a gente está de volta com Semana Cine Especial Cassino. O roteiro desse filme foi baseado no livro de mesmo nome do escritor Nicholas Pileggi, que já havia feito com Scorsese o roteiro de Os Bons Companheiros. Só que no caso de Cassino, a história é verídica, baseada em fatos registrados em depoimentos prestados à Corte Federal dos Estados Unidos. Nessa última parte do especial, os atores falam da construção de seus personagens para o filme.
What do you think about me moving out here?
I just gotta tell you, it's no joke out here. You gotta keep a low profile. Right off the bat, they don't like guys like us.
Casino reunites most of the creative team that made Goodfellas so memorable. Scorsese, De Niro, Pesci, even writer Nicholas Pileggi. In comparing the two films, many will also notice some similarities in the lead characters, but there are some crucial differences.
The biggest distinction between the two characters was that I think Nicky was more business. I mean, Nicky was told to do something and he did it.
Nicky, see that guy? He's making a lot of money for us, so keep a good eye on it.
All right. And I think Tommy, craziness just came from, you know, what did you say to me? Bang.
You let that punk get away with that? What's the matter? What's the world coming to?
And it was more of a business thing with Nicky.
In Goodfellas, I was an active criminal who hands-on, you know, in every sense of the word.
Maurice? Yeah, who's this? Who's here?
Casino, my character was a little different, only that he's a more cerebral guy. It's numbers. He's like a thinking kind of like guy.
3 jackpots in 20 minutes? Why didn't you pull the machines? Why didn't you call me?
Well, it happened so quick. 3 guys won. I didn't have a chance to call you.
See the scam? You didn't see what was going on?
Well, there's no way to determine that,
Yes,
Sam.
there is. An infallible way. They won.
Yeah, there are similar characters. That's certainly true, and they're similar world, but it's up against something much bigger. It's up against a whole system. We had a much bigger canvas here. A much bigger canvas to paint something much more spectacular.
The canvas may be bigger, but the brushstrokes are just as meticulous. For Scorsese and De Niro, details create a character, and they spent much of their time crafting the look of Ace Rothstein and company.
Casino, we were always figuring out the tie, matching it up against with the suit and the clothes, and then on the ring, all the external, the look. But the look is very important, especially in that world, you know.
Very, very important. I mean, you know, a lot of time, cufflinks, the watch has to match the cufflink, the face of the watch, the color of the face of the watch, red shirt, red face, you know, and that sort of thing. I mean, he's a meticulous guy.
Money comes and money goes, but it is Ace's passion for Ginger McKenna that rocks his by-the-numbers world for good.
I want to settle down. I want a family.
You got the wrong girl. Yeah.
What do you think she sees in De Niro's character that makes her willing to marry him, even though she obviously doesn't love him?
He told her that he would respect her. And I don't think she'd ever had that before. And she was a kid, and I don't think she thought she would ever get it again.
You know, I'll take care of you better than you'd ever imagine.
What are you pitching me?
Just what I said. You'll be set up for the rest of your life. That I can promise you.
They made a marital deal, and the deal was that she got $1 million in jewelry. It was kind of the Vegas prenuptial.
He thinks he can change her, though. He's willing to marry her because he thinks she'll come to love him.
That happens sometimes with people. They think that they can make the difference, and ultimately, it's not true in a lot of cases. Maybe in most cases, people are who they're going to be.
Your drinking's getting way out of hand. I'm going to get you into a program. They got plenty of good ones. You don't need one.
Ace rules the casino, but when Nicky intrudes on his job and his marriage, the mob's hold on Vegas begins to weaken.
I lost control. You know, I don't want to bring this up, but you've been treating a lot of people with a lot of disrespect, even your own wife.
My wife?
Yeah.
Now, what does she have to do with all
Well,
this?
she came to see me. She was upset about a lot of things.
All of a sudden, you're the shoulder to cry on?
You know, as with anything else, when you start becoming successful, greed gets in there, you know, and they brought each other down with the greed, you know.
You want me to get out of my own town? You only exist out here because of me.
What was interesting much more to me, besides just how they brought themselves down, was that they took everybody with them. Not only took everybody with them, they took a whole system with them. They took a whole city with them. They took a way of life with them.
You stop it. You're drunk. You're on drugs.
I am not.
You're going to be sorry if you don't stop
Don't you
that.
threaten
The whole
me.
neighborhood...
Don't you threaten me.
They might have made it, but you put a woman between the two guys and forget about it.
I tried to do everything for you, even though I knew deep down inside you would bury me.
I buried you. You buried yourself.
This was a dream. This was paradise. And they're cast out by the end of it through their own weaknesses.
They want things to quiet down. They want you to walk away.
Walk away, Andy. You can't be serious. How can I walk away? Don't you see what's going on here? Don't you see what's at stake?
The old man said, maybe your friend should give in. And when the old man says maybe, that's like a papal bull. Not only should you quit, you should run.
What do you think is the enduring appeal of these stories about characters from the underworld or gangsters?
I think because they're outlaws and they're taking a certain risk. There's a big downside, you know, like getting killed or going to jail for a long time.
You realize what you can do? You can get us all killed.
There's always excitement. If you like that kind of excitement.
There's a fascination with why would they do that? Why would they take that chance?
I know I'm always attracted to it because of the extremes of the story.
They found a guy's head in the desert. That's no good.
I think it's that wondering about good and evil, right and wrong, heaven and hell. Is God really watching us?
And the extreme is great for dramatic conflict, and dramatic conflict makes a great story.
Esse programa vai ficando por aqui, mas fica ligado que logo, logo a gente vai estar trazendo outros especiais de cinema para você. Tchau!